Welcome back, students. In the last class we discussed checkbox and checkbox group GUI components. So in this class let us continue with the remaining GUI components. So here let us look into the choice class. Choice is also a GUI component. So it is also present in java.awt package. So in Java, AWT is one of the largest packages. It contains a number of classes and methods. So here choice is a class. That class is present in which package? AWT package. So what is choice? Choice is a GUI component. Choice is a GUI component. It is a predefined class. According to the naming rules, first letter should start with uppercase letter. Here choice, whenever we can use choice class in our programming, first letter should start with uppercase letter, because in Java predefined classes should start with uppercase letter, because Java is a case sensitive. Uppercase letters and lowercase letters are distinct, so we can use what are the predefined classes. Those classes we have defined, we should start with first character as uppercase letter. Here choice is a class. It is used to create pop-up list of items from which the user may choose. So something choice. So I think you might be aware of choice. So here it is a choice. So it is a choice. So whenever we can it contains, so choice is a class. It is used to create pop-up list of items from which the user may choose. Suppose we have to click. So already choice have number of elements and number of items. Out of these elements, whatever the items of the list user may choose, that items will be displayed on the screen. So it is visible on the screen. So choice is a control. It is a form of menu. It is a pop-up menu. So whenever we can click on this button, so already choice have number of items and number of elements. Those items will be displayed here. So we can pick and click one item. That item is visible on the screen. So it is a pop-up menu. Next one, choice defines only one constructor. So every classes have some constructors. Constructor name same as the class name. So in order to create object of the class, first we have two constructors, because constructors are automatically initialized at the time of creating object of the class. Here choice defines only one constructor, one default constructor, choice. So constructor name same as the class name. So add method. So add is the method. So it is used to add item in the choice list. So by using add method, we can add elements. So we have add some items in the choice. By using which method? Add method. Add is the method. By using add method, we can add. So we can add some elements, some items in the choice or list. So what is the syntax? So it returns add type data. So string as an argument, it is applied as argument has a add method, because it names, so new name. Suppose we have to create an object, choice C equal to new choice. Suppose let us take an example of subjects. Like number of subjects are there: C, Java, Python programming, DBMS, OS, CDC. Number of subjects are there. So here whenever I am creating object of the class, we have to pass by using add method. We can add items in the choice. Next one, here name means name of the item being added. What is the item we have to add? That indicates the name. Next one, items are added in the list in the order which calls to add. So when items are added, how items are added in the list? By using add method. So for suppose here I am creating object of the class. Choice you have one default constructor. Choice have one constructor, that is one default constructor. Actually you know that constructor name same as the class name. So here with respect to the class we can create object. Here what is our class? What is our GUI component? Choice. So here with respect to the class, here I am creating object of the choice class. Choice C equal to new choice. Already choice class have one constructor, that is a default constructor. Means it does not have any argument, so it is a default constructor. So next one, how we can add elements in the choice? By using which method? Add method. So here with the help of these object reference, I'm calling add method. So C dot add CSE. So one item is added. With the help of these statement, one item is added on the choice. one item is added on the choice. Next one, what are the methods? What are the methods available in choice class? So let us look into the methods of choice class. Here, get selected item. So get selected index. Get selected item. Already you know that according to the naming rules, if any method contains 2 words or 3 words, second word first letter and third word first letter should start with uppercase letter. Get selected item and get selected index. These two are methods. These two are methods defined in which class? Choice class. So here S should be the uppercase letter, I should be the uppercase letter. So these methods will help you, will help us to determine which item is currently selected. So in the list, number of items are there. Suppose in the list, number of items are there. Suppose branches. Suppose in the list is there. So whenever we can click this one. So in the list, number of items are there. Suppose CSC, CE, IT, mechanical, civil. Next, number of branches are available. So in the list, number of items are there. So presently, whenever I pick and click this item, so one item is visible on the screen. One item is visible on the screen. So wherever I am scroll down this one, so I am selecting CSE. CSE is visible here. So in the window, it will be displayed as CSE. So what is the current item to be selected? By using which method you have to determine, you have to identify get selected item. Get selected item will help us to determine, to retrieve current item in the choice. Current item in the choice. Next one, get selected index. Index means a string index starting from the 0 onwards. So which is the current index? Sometimes we have to know. So in those situations, this method will help us to determine presently which index value is displayed on the window on applet surface. Next one, syntax. So get selected item displays string type of data type. Get selected item displays string type of data type. Get selected index. So get selected index returns integer type data type because string index starting from 0 onwards. So it returns integer type. Get selected item. Sometimes you want to know, you want to fetch. So which item is selected currently present, which item is selected on the window. Sometimes you want to know. On those situations, this method will help us to determine, to find the currently selected item in the choice. So it returns which data type, string type, data type. Next one. So get selected items returns a string containing name of the items. So it returns a string containing name of the item. So it returns the name of the item presently which item was selected in the choice. Next one, get selected index. So it returns the index of the item. The first item is at index 0. So it returns the index of the item. The first index is at index 0. So for example, in the choice, number of items are there, CSE, CE. So CSE, CE, IT, civil. Sometimes we want to know index value means. So here first in the choice, first item index is 0, next one, next 2, next 3, and next 4, and so on. So in this way, we can return the indexes values on the console. Next one, get item count. Sometimes we want to know how many items are there. How many items are there in the choice. So at the time of implementing the program, we have added some items in the choice and a number of items in the choice. So in the program development, sometimes we want to know which item, so what is the count. So how many elements we are added in the choice and how many items we are added in the list. Sometimes we want to know. So on those situations, get item count is a method. It method will help us to determine how many elements are added in the choice. So it obtains number of items in the list. So what is the syntax? So it returns which type, integer type. Get item count. Count means, so sometimes we want to know how many items are added in the list. So how many means number. Number means this method returns which type, integer. It gets the item count method returns integer type, data type. Next one, select. Select means in the choice number of items are added. So here select means currently selected item with either 0 based integer means index or string that will be match a name in the list. So sometimes In the list is visible. Sometimes in the list is visible. Sometimes it will ask if you want to register, if you want to log in any, if you want to register any website or any portal. Sometimes it will show the one list in the website. So in the list we can already one button is there, so we can pick in the so in the list, so we can pick and click this one. So it will whenever users scroll down this button, number of items are visible in the list. So out of those elements, out of those items, user may choose one of these items. Those item is visible in on the screen. Those item is visible on the screen. Sometimes you have to select. It is name based or index based. It is get selected item or. So next one gets the selected index. Next one. So it is a syntax. Void select string type. String type means item we have to select. Index means so index. What is the index? It index starting from 0 onwards. In the choice, first item index is 0 and continuation 0, 1, 2, 3 and so on. Next one get items. So we can obtain the name associated with the item at the index. Sometimes, so for example, in the choice, number of items are there, like CSE, CE. Suppose let us take an example of 4 branches: CSE, CE, EEE, IT, mechanical, automobile. Next number of branches are there. Out of which, sometimes we want to know. Suppose I want to know EC index value. It is placed in which index value on the choice. So on those situations, get item method will help us to determine which item is placed in which index. We can retrieve easily. So it is string get item index. It is a syntax. Here index specifies the index of the desired item. Index of the desired item. What item is placed in which index? CSE is placed in which index? Item EC is placed in which index? IT is placed in which index? So we want to know. So it will help us to determine, to find in the choice based control GUI component. Next, how to handle these choice controls? Whenever choice is pressed, so whenever choice is pressed, which event could be generated? So each time a choice is selected, an item event is generated. So each time a choice is selected, so in the choice, number of items are there. So out of which user may choose one of the item. Which event generated? Item event generated. So each time a choice is selected, which event generated? Item event generated. So here, so it is whenever event is generated in the source, it will send to the listeners. Listeners are associated with the interfaces. Listeners control the events. Listener handles the events. So here item listener that is registered and receive the item event notifications from the component. So after receiving the events, the listener controls the event, handle the events. Listeners are associated with methods. So in the item listener interface, it defines the item state changed method. So here item listener interface defines one method, item state changed method. So an item event object is applied as argument to the method. It contains the information about the event. Already you know this information in event handle. I think you might be aware of these, how to handle the events whenever event is occurred. So where events are generated in the source. Whenever events are generated in the source will send to a particular corresponding event to the listeners. So listeners are associated with the interfaces. In order to handle the events in listener must and should register with one or more sources. Listeners means interfaces. It has some methods. So in our program, we have to implement listener interfaces. It is a mandatory to provide implementation to provide the body of those methods of interfaces. Okay. Next one list. So next GUI component is list. After choice, what is the next GUI component? List. So here the list class is used to create pop-up list. List class is used to create pop-up list. Choice object which shows only single selected item in the menu. So compared to choice and list, so it is a choice. So whenever we can click scroll down this button, so number of items are present in the list, out of which user may choose one of the items. So compared to list, Compare to list. So here a scroll bar is there. The user interact with these scroll bars. So to choose items in the list. So list means choice means only single click is there, but list means double click is there. So here whenever we can scroll down, multiple elements are there. So out of which we can choose one item. Number of items are visible in the number of items will be displayed on the menu. Okay, so here choice object which shows only single selected item in the menu. Number of items are there, out of which only single selected item is visible on the window. So list object can be constructed to show any number of choices in the visible window. So multiple selections are also possible by using list. So here from list it is possible to select more than one item. So it is possible to select more than one item. Choice means only one item is visible. List means multiple number of items are visible in the window. Next one. It provides multiple choices, scrolling and the selection the list. So we can scrolling and select the list. Sometimes our items are greater than component area, we can scroll up and scroll down, and we can pick and double click the item. So that item is focused. Whenever we can pick and double click the item, that item is focused and the remaining items are focus losses. So next one, it can also be created allow multiple selections. Already you know that. So next one, let us look into the constructors. What are the constructors available in the list class? So first one, list. It is a default constructor. So the first, it creates a list control that allows only one item to be selected at any one time. So default means only one item can be selected. So here list int number of rows. So here int, so number of rows is an argument that is applied to the list constructor. Here in this form, the value number of rows specifies the number of entities in the list that will always be possible. Sometimes in the list number of elements are there. Whenever we can create an object and we can pass number of rows in that constructor. So how many rows are there? Those items will be displayed on the list. So next one, int number of rows. So next one, boolean multiple select. So boolean means either true or false. Number of rows. So in this form, multiple select is true. Suppose multiple select is true, then the user may select 2 or more items at a time. In the list, number of items are there. Multiple items are there. So if boolean value is true, multiple select is possible. Sometimes user may select more than one item in the list. This constructor will help us. So whenever we can creating object, we can instantiating the object. So we can select multiple items at a time. Next, add method. So it is used to add items in the list. So how we can add elements in the list by using add method. So in the choice also, how we can add items in the list by using add method. So what is the syntax? Void add string name. Next one, void add string name into index. Next one, here name is the name of the item added. So next one, the first form adds the items and end of the list. It is creates an index specified by the index. So what are the methods available in choice? Those are all methods available in the list class. You can understand what are the methods available in the choice class. Then you can easily understand list methods. Both are the same. Only one or more methods are difference between choice and list. So here also sometimes you want to know what is the item to be selected in the list. In our situations we can use get selected item. As well, sometimes we want to know index value. Get selected index method will help us. Already you know what is the syntax is. Next one. Already you know that get item count. Sometimes you want to know how many items are present in the list. In those situations, get item count will help us to find the count, to determine the count. In present, how many items and how many elements are in the list. So how to handle the list? So each time item is selected in the list. In the list, number of elements are there. Each time item is selected in the list. Item event generated. This is sent to the item listener. So it receives an event and handle the events. So item listener defines item state changed method. Next, let us look into the program. Let us see one example related to the list and choice GUI components. So here I am importing one package, input java.awt package. So first, what is the template? What is the template of writing a program in GUI components? First, we have to import the packages. Next, we have to write applet code because we are implementing applet program by using applet viewer tool. We have to write a applet code. It is mentioned in the comment lines. Next, our class extends the applet and implements what are the listener interfaces related to corresponding GUI components. Next, we can invoking the init method. In the init method, everything we have to set in the init method. Set background, foreground, we can register listener interfaces, everything we have right within the init method. After that, within the init method also it is possible to create objects of GUI components. Next, sometimes we want to display some output operations on the console. So we have to write the paint method. With the help of in the paint method, I have one argument graphics class. With the help of graphics class arguments, we can call what we have to do, which we want to display on the console. So here let us see the program. First we have importing packages, import java.awt.star. So by AWT, so list to choice, these two are GUI components, these two present in which package? AWT package. Next java.awt.event. So in order to handle the events, we have event package. So in java.awt.event, let's applet. So we in our program we have to implementing applet program by using applet viewer tool. All related corresponding classes available in applet package. Next one we have to write applet code. It is mentioned in the comment lines. Applet code equal to choice list. We have to set some width and the height attributes of the window. Next we have to close the applet tab. Next close the comments. So it is mentioned in the comment lines. Next, public class. Our class is a public access specifier. Class choice list extends the applet. So our class is a subclass of applet class. What are the default behaviors available in applet class? Those all would applicable in our program. So and implements item listener and action listener interfaces. It have two interfaces, item listener and action listener interfaces. Whenever we can implementing those interfaces in our program, we have to provide in the body. It is a mandatory to provide the body to provide implementation. So next one. So here I am defining objects of choice and list class. Choice C, list L. So here C and L are reference variable or object names. So next one, here I am defining two messages, choice message and L message. Simply I am defining variable as C message and L message. These two are string type of data types. Next one, I am invoking init method. So I am invoking init method. Everything we have to set within the init method. Already I told you a number of times. Applet starts its execution from init method. In applets we need not write main method. Applets don't require main method. Applet starts its execution from init method. Everything we have to set within the init method. We have to set background color, foreground color, set images, fonts. Everything we have to done within the init method. Because in the applets do not require main method. So we can invoking init method. Next one. So here in this one just we have defined the objects, we have created objects. So in this one we have to instantiate the objects by using new keyword. So C equal to new choice, L equal to new list. So we have to create objects in the memory. So in these two steps means we have to create objects, choice class object and a list class objects in the memory. So by using new operator we can instantiate these two objects. Next one. So we have to add. So we have to add list items on the choice. So list items on the choice items. So in this one, these 6 statements means we have to add some items. So we have to add some items in the list and choice. So we have to add some items in the list, and choice. Sometimes it is a choice, we have to add some items in the choice and we have to add some items in the list. So how we have to add items or elements in the choice and list by using which method? Add method. With the help of choice class object, we have to add those elements in the choice. With the help of list class object, we have to add items in the list. Next, with the help, first of all, we have to add choice elements. So how we have to add? By using add method. C.add C programming. Next one, C.add Python programming. Next, C.add Java programming. Let us take the subjects as an example. So we have to add number of subjects, number of items in the choice and list. So in a similar way, we have to add items in the list. So we have to add some items, some elements in the list. So with the help of list class object, we have to add those elements in the list. L.add, C programming, Python programming and Java programming. After adding elements in the choice and list, so we have to add those elements in the container. So add C, add L. Add C, add L. These two means we have to add those items in the container object. Next one. So we have to register the interfaces. Whenever choice item is selected, item event is generated. So whenever list item is selected, which event could be generated? Action event could be generated. So we have to register interfaces also within the init method. So add item listener, add action listener. So with the help of C class object, choice class, list class, these one. So we have to close the init method. Next after that we have to define the methods. So action listener have one method, action performed. Item listener have one method, item state change method. So in the previous slide, choice list extends applet implements item listener and action listener. So whenever we can implement these two interfaces in our program, so whenever Java compiler finds the implements keyword, at the time of compilation, Java compiler checks whether the user providing the bodies of those corresponding interfaces are not. Otherwise, at the time of compilation, it leads an error. Our program could not compile successfully. So, whenever we can implement the interfaces, so at the time of program development, it is a mandatory to provide the implementations of those interfaces. So, here I am providing the body of action performed method. So, here action event is a class. That class is applied as output of action performed. A is the reference of action event class. We can call the define method and we can close the method. Next, in the similar way, we have to provide the body of item state changer method. So here item event is a class. The class is applied as output of item state changer method. I is a reference. So we can call the define method and we have to close the method body. Next one. Paint method. Sometimes we want to display some outputs on the console. So paint method. Paint method is one method. It is not part of the applet lifecycle, but it plays very important role in applet-based applications. So in the paint method needs one argument, graphics. Graphics is a class. The class is applied as argument to the paint method. So in the graphics class provides number of methods. Graphics class provides number of methods. Fill oval, fill rectangle, draw circle, draw rectangle. So it have number of methods. So whenever we can invoking paint method in our program, with the help of these graphics class object reference, we have accessing what are the methods, what are the constructors present in graphics class. So here already in the starting one, we have to define two methods, C message and L message. So here C dot get selected item. So get selected item. What is the importance of this method, get selected item? Sometimes you want to know in the list number of items are there. So in the choice number of items are there. Sometimes you want to know, so out of suppose in the list 100 items are there, in the choice 100 items are there. Suppose you want to choose, suppose we have to register any exam. Sometimes it may choose nearby exam centers. So in the list we have to click the list, so all exam centers are visible. We have to select one of the exam center. Sometimes we have to clarify what we have selected, is it right or not. So whenever we can clicking on the mouse by mistake, one item is displayed. So once after submitting the button, we have to check thoroughly. So what I am selecting. So which I am selecting. So on those situations, get selected item method will helpful. So it will display present currently selecting item on the list, currently selecting item on the choice. So get selected item, it is a method. What is the importance of this method? It returns what is the item to be selecting, present or current. So here in the similar way we have to accessing C dot get selected item. L message, it is L. With the help of these object reference, list item will be displayed. Next one, G dot drawstring, C message 500, 600. Next to drawstring, sometimes you want to know, we can display graphics on the console. Drawstring method will display string on the console. It has three arguments. First one is string, second one X coordinate, Y coordinate. So in the applet, some X coordinate, Y coordinate are there. So which you want to display on the window. So draw string method have three arguments. First one string, X coordinate, Y coordinate. So next confirmation. So if you let us say this program has choice list.java. After saving, we have to compile the program java c space filename.java, java c space choice list.java. So after compiling, if no errors are there, our program could compile successfully. So after compilation is there, we have to execute our program. So after executing, so already what are the elements we have added in the list? So in the list number of items are there. So we have to add Java programming, Python programming and C programming. So it is a choice and it is a list. So this one is a choice. This one is a list. Choice means only single item is so one button is there. So we can click, we can scroll down this one. So only one item is selected. User may choose one of the item. One item is visible on the window. So here multiple items are visible. If we can scroll up and scroll down, number of items are there. So whenever we can user may select one of the item. Only the item is focused and remaining items are focused lost. But in that we compare to list, number of items are visible on the screen. So it is a choice and it is a list. So when after we can changing this Java programming, again we can scroll down. So we can select the C programming. C programming is displayed on this one. Next one we can click on double click on any one of the list item. It is nothing but list and choice GUI component. As coming to the next GUI component. So test field. So test field. Already I told you test field is a GUI component. Test field is a GUI component. Test field is a class. It is present in AWT component. It allows only single line test. It allows only single line test. So the test field class implements single line test entry area, usually called edit control. Usually called edit control. So here test field will help you where you can edit and type the character. Where you can edit and type the character. So it will help us where you can edit and type the characters or strings. Edit means just simply cut, copy, paste. So or we can type the characters. So it will help us only single line test only. Single line test. Multiple tests, multiple lines are not allowed. Only we can select. So we can type only single line test only. So test, it is a subclass of test component. Already you know that in the class hierarchy, test component have two subclasses, test field and test area. So let us look into these two components. First we have to see test field. Already you know that test field means it is a GUI component. It allows only single line test. It is a subclass of test field component. It will help you where you can type and edit the test. So edit means just copy, cut, copy, paste. So type means you have to type a character through manually by using keyboard. So test field defines the following constructors. So first one is default constructor. Second test field number of chars. How many number of characters. So how many characters we have to pass. Next one string. So it is applied as a string as a argument. Next one. So we have to mixing these two constructors in this constructor, fourth constructor. So here see. So first one already we covered. So first one is default. Next one number of characters. How many characters are there? Next one we have to supply string. So string as a test field. Next these two mixing in these constructor. Next what are the methods available in test field class? Set test method. Set test method will help you to set the test in that test field. So set test is a method. So this method is present in which class? Set test is a method. This method is present in which class? Test field class. Test field. What is the importance of this set test class? Set test method to set the test in the test field. What is the syntax? So set test it returns a void type. So it string. So what is the argument of this set test method? So string argument. So generally every method have some parameters. Every method have arguments. Every method have parameters. Next one, get test method. Sometimes we want to know what is the test presently selecting. On those situations, get test method will help us. It returns the string type. Next one, get selected test. What is in the test field is there? Suppose in the test field is there. Just I am typing wrong. Suppose I am typing wrong. whenever I'm selecting R character, I'm selecting R character. So whenever I'm using get selected test, what is the currently selected test is selected on those tests will return on the console. So it returns the string type. Next one, set editable. Sometimes we want to know particular test is editable or not. Sometimes I can know particular test is editable or not. So on this situation, set editable method will help us. These all are methods. So we can control whether the contents of the test field may be modified or the user or not. So I can check whether the test is editable or not by using set editable methods. So set editable, it returns boolean of false. Is it editable? It returns the true, otherwise false. So is editable. So we can determine editability. So we can determine the editability. So it returns also boolean. So next one, set AWT. There may be times when we want the user enter the test, it is not displayed. It is not displayed. So such as passwords. Password means hidden sometimes. So want to log in with any Gmail or Facebook account. So you can type username or password. Password is not visible. Sometimes it will display whenever we can type the password. It will display the stars or question marks because of security purpose. So on those purpose we can use set echo cap method. So it will display on the question marks or hidden fields. So there may be times when we want to user enter the test is not displayed on. So like passwords, we can disable the encoding characters. We can use set echo char method. So this method also defines single character that the test will display characters are entered. The actual characters are typed, not be shown, and we can display like star and dollar. Sometimes we have test field. These two test fields are there in the window. Suppose a name and a password. So name, it is a test field. Next one, password. Next one, password. This is also a test field. Name. So if you want to log in any site, so enter one name or mail address. Next one, password. It is not visible. It will be disabled. It will display sometimes star or question mark. It will be hidden. So in those situations, we can use set echo char method. So next one, echo char set. We can check a test field to see if it is echo char mode or not. We can use char set method. So sometimes we want to see, we want to provide the security of our fields, our test fields. We want to know the particular test field is echo char or not. How we have to know? By using echo char is set method. Echo char is set method. So it retrieves the character. So it has the following syntax. Next one, get echo char, it returns the character type. CH specifies the character to be echoed. So next one, how to handle these test fields. Since a test field perform their own editing functions, your program generally. So however you may want to respond when the user presses enter button. So when these occurs, whenever test field is generated, user enters the test field, which event generated, action event generated. So test field means a single line entry. It is a GUI component. It allows only single line test. So let us look into the program. Let us see the program. So here, first of all, any program, what is the template? Importing the packages. Next, writing the applet code. Next, class extends applet, implements the interfaces. Next one, we can invoking the init method. Everything we have to set within the init method. After that, we have to call the paint method. We have to invoke the paint method. So here, first of all, we are importing the packages, AWT applet. What are the packages required in our program? We have to import. It is highly recommended to import all packages because all the classes present in packages. In Java, every class is a part of package. Every class is named some package. So here, write applet code. S1 can enclosing our code in the comment lines. Next, public class test field demo extends applet. Our class is a subclass of applet class. Next, in this one, just I am creating, I am defining two test field type objects, name and password. Just simply I am declaring variable as password. Next, I am writing init method. So here I am creating two labels. So label name P. So it is the label name. Next label pass P. Label pass P. Password name. So new label name password. So name password. So in the window name and password displayed. name is a test field and the password is a test field. Password is also a test field. So it is right specified. These two name and password labels are right specified. We can set the alignment. So in this one, just in this test field, just we have to create objects. So in this one, we have to instantiate the objects in the memory by using new keyword. Name new equal to new test field 12. So it is the width of the test field. It is the width of the test field. So it allows 12 characters on the test field. So next one, in the similar way, how we have to instantiate the object of pass equal to new test field 16. So it allows 16 characters of password. Width of these test field is 16 characters. Next one, we can set echo cat. So because the password is hidden, name is visible, password is hidden. So we have to set password field as set echo cat. What is the method we have to set password is stars or question marks by using which method? Set echo cat method. So question mark, so pass dot set echo cat. We have to set our password as echo cat type characters. So let's add these labels and these test fields into the container. Add test fields and labels into the container. Add name, add pass, add password. After that, we can set any name. We can type any name like Ram Sita. This one password. Password is it will display this one. So whenever we can displaying, whenever we can enter in the character, it will display on the question mark. So whenever I am selecting a particular test, how we have to retrieve by using get selected item and set selected items, we have to select present which test is selected. So test field, it is a subclass of test component. It is present in AWT package. So test field. Next after that test area. So what is the difference between test field and test area? Test field means it allows only single line test. It allows only single line test. Test area means so you may enter more than one line of test. You may enter more than one line of test by using test area. So test field means it allows only single line test. Test area means it allows multiple lines of test. So what are the constructors? Let us look into the constructors. What are the constructors? First one is test area. It is a default constructor. So next to test area is in number of lines. Here number of line indicates how many number of lines are there in a test area. It is like a test area. So in this one, number of lines. How many number of lines are there? How many characters are there? By using this constructor, we help you. Next one, test area, string str. What is the string specified by this test area? Next one, we have to mixing these two constructor has this one. Next one, test area, string str. It is a constructor. So we have to create object of the particular test area class. First, we have to know what are the constructors defined in the test area class. So these all are the constructors defined by test area class. So these constructors have four arguments: string type, string type, number of lines, number of characters, and S bar means scroll bar. Sometimes our test is greater than the component area. Sometimes our test is greater than the component area. We can scroll up and scroll down by using S bars. So here string is str is string type. How many number of lines are there? It is integer type in the test area. Number of characters is integer type. Scroll bar is also a integer type. These all are the constructors defined by the test area. Default constructor, number of lines, number of characters. So next one, string type. Sometimes you want to know string type, number of lines, number of characters. On those situations, this constructor will help us. Next one, sometimes our test is greater than the component area. We can scroll up and scroll down. It have one extra character, one extra parameter. So string str, number of lines, number of characters. S bar means our test is greater than the component area. We can scroll up and scroll down. So sometimes, so we have write a program to demonstrate test area. So what is the template for writing the program? So what are the related methods applicable? What are the methods available in test field? Yeah, test field, those all methods would applicable in test area also. Get echo can, set echo can, get selected item, those all methods, select, those all methods would applicable test area also. Because these two are subclasses of test component. What are the methods would have in test area? Those all classes would available also test area class also. Suppose here I am defining, implementing the program. What is the template? Importing packages. Next write the applet code. Next class extends the applet. Next we have to write the init method. Everything we have to set in the init method. So in this one, test area means multiple lines of test are there. So by we can declare in the string, suppose string value equal to. So we can enter in multiple tests. Next we can creating object of test area class. So we can pass number of lines and the number of characters. So string means specified by string is number of lines and the number of characters. Number of lines we have to say. Suppose here I am writing the program. Suppose I am defining string value. String value equal to Java programming. So every line followed by /n. Next plus. Java is most popular programming language. And /n. So next we have, after that we have to create object of test area. Test equal to new test area. Whenever object of the class is created, constructors are automatically created. First one string str. So suppose we have to take this constructor string str. So we have to pass str means string type means value. So we have to pass string type value. Next one number of lines. So number of lines are 2 comma number of characters. Suppose we have to pass 50 characters. We have to display 2 lines will be displayed and 50 characters will be displayed. So we have to create object of this test area class. We can initiate the constructor. We can, whenever object of the class is created, constructors are automatically created. So these all are the GUI components. So in this class already we covered 4 GUI components. What they are: choice, list, test field and test area. So thank you everyone. I think you have clear with these 4 GUI components. In the next class I will explain remaining components like score bar. Thank you.